Welcome to Nameless Debate Radio, where radioactivity is contagious. You can join us in broadening our minds on the Nameless Debates Discord via the link below, and even feature here yourself, if you've got what it takes.
Now we have a whole new conversation. How magical was that?
Oh wow! You
Imagine.
took away recording bots.
There you
That's
go,
amazing.
yeah.
And then you put
Yeah, it
them
was
back.
magical,
So now
right?
we're in a different
Exactly.
combo.
Dude, I think you guys should debate this.
It is.
Is it actually two separate conversations, or is it one conversation? What's your position in sync?
Oh, is
I
this
mean,
one stream of
look,
consciousness between?
Are we gonna do Nameless
a bunch of
Debates
different
multi-part
voices in one
episodes?
Is that what's going on?
Yeah, part
Stacey?
1 and 2.
Are
dude.
we just a bunch of different voices in one person's head, and we
Are we
go
gonna
in and
have
out
like
of, consciousness?
Cross
Is that what's going
trilogy?
on?
Is that what this is?
I've got,
Dude, we have the King Tan trilogy.
Yeah, dude, the King Tan is a quadrilogy.
Dude, there's 4? Holy shit. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude.
That's insane.
Oh, actually, technically, in one of the recent uploads, he comes in 20 minutes through to ask why he got demoted.
That's great. We need to
so
clip that. We need to clip
funny,
that out and make it its own video.
Yeah, no, one of my mates suggested to me recently that one of the things that we could do is split the videos up into shorts where possible.
Yeah. I think we could do a best of one where we just take clips from all the episodes.
I'm gonna make a trailer for the channel. Yeah.
Dude, can please for the trailer?
Am I gonna make it into the trailer?
No,
I don't know,
dude.
man, maybe.
For the trailer, you gotta have the dankest memes of people just screaming and over talking each other.
I'll be the Second Amendment is more important than gravity, and that'll be in the trailer.
If we had the one where you said the thing about private explosives, you'd be in the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then it's
we can.
Talking about.
We can have that conversation and record it if you want.
One where you
okay.
Oh yeah, I want to know why there's not tank mines in the middle of the city. That one.
We can have that conversation if you want.
This is not a joke. Crambo thinks that having privatized explosives is a good idea.
Dude, no, he accepted. He wanted he said it was okay to own fighter jets.
No, but dude, that's an insane extension. Let's just deal with the explosives, right?
No, dude, I don't even. I want to go to the.
Dude, but the average man can get explosives.
Dude, but it's fighter jet. It only
be able to own a fighter jet, but who's gonna actually have one?
Crambo, you little bitch.
What? No, I'm agreeing with your point. The explosive thing is much more relevant.
I know. Just don't talk to Stacy, this little motherfucker.
No, talk to me, Crambo. So, should I be able to own a fighter jet?
I think you should be able to own explosives. That's a good idea.
But should I? That's not an answer.
Private explosives?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Well, private explosives are necessary because we need a militia to be able to fight either.
Wait, I think you got the recitation of the rhetoric a bit wrong. Could you try again?
My mistake. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state.
That's what I like to hear.
Bear arms shall not be infringed.
Dude, fucking America.
That's the ticket.
Well, are you implying that I don't know the Second Amendment by rote memory?
Not me. No, I was implying
Stacy.
Okay. Okay, so what you just said was that explosives are necessary for a well-regulated militia, yes?
Yes, they are.
Yes. Explosives are a really bad idea to allow private individuals to own, in terms of what people who aren't well-intentioned can do with them.
Well, so are cars.
No, not to anywhere near the same degree. The magnitude of difference is colossal. If I put a ball bearing bomb.
That depends on how big an.
If I put a ball bearing bomb at a local kindergarten, a car just isn't comparable.
I don't know. I think you could ram a semi truck through a local kindergarten and do a comparable.
I don't think it would be as bad as a ball bearing bomb.
Depends on how big the ball bearing bomb is, doesn't it?
No, not very much.
I just want to get into my ability to.
We'll call this a difference of opinion, I suppose.
I just want to get into my ability to run a fighter jet through a fucking building. That's what I want to get. And then his position
if you're Elon Musk, sure.
And
Dude,
then
dude.
like his position that we should have machine guns to fight the fighter jets in case like people go
Yeah,
crazy.
dude, he said we should have machine guns to fight the tanks.
No, he said
Well,
no.
no,
He
that's
said
what the
tank
explosives
mines.
are for.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
said tank
yeah.
mines in the city, and then the machine guns to fight off the fighter jets.
What if your tank mines blow up some children?
Well, I mean that's just
Oops.
what
Well,
you
well,
got.
I think
Freedom, dude.
Well, I
Collateral
think that
damage from my freedoms.
Instinct. That's just what you got to accept for your freedom.
Let me
Exactly,
explain
bro.
it. Let me explain it. Okay. A, that is the price of freedom. But B,
Oh god, did you just say that blowing up children with landmines is the price of freedom?
but B, okay.
Go to Iraq, bro.
B, every education should include at least a crash course in guerrilla war.
Yeah. So, were you dropped on your head or were you thrown against the floor?
So like, Trambo, can you just
Funny
close your
story,
eyes?
guys. I can actually answer that question for you if you like.
Yeah, I would
I
love
think we know the answer. It's fine.
that.
Okay. So my mother, when I was just a young lad, was under the impression that newborn children could swim, so I was tossed into a pool.
Fuck yeah.
It didn't work.
Next one stings.
When you get roasted by Cross, you know something's wrong.
So like, Crambo, can you just close your eyes and like imagine the world you're talking about?
It's glorious.
Can you just fucking children getting blown up by fucking fighter jets and tank mines, and like every roof just has a bunch of machine guns.
It happens in Syria all the time.
Yeah, Syria is a good place to like have
Yeah,
your
I want to live in Syria. Fuck yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yes,
What's wrong with Syria?
It's not a stable environment, let's say.
Oh, well, you can have stability or you can have freedom.
Yeah.
You can have children not being blown the fuck up, or you can have freedom, dude. Which
I
one
love
is
the
it?
dichotomy. Choose or you're not a patriot.
Exactly.
That's the stuff, man.
But seriously, guys, I do think that explosives are they should be kosher.
But seriously,
Dude,
though,
I want to
think
get the
that,
fighter
like,
jet.
that bullshit's laughable.
Well, you might think so.
Well, like you're like the people who make the law in your country think so. It's illegal.
I'd say that's unconstitutional.
I don't care. It is illegal.
I wouldn't. Well,
Talk some bullshit.
Dude, you can
It
ask
is
the
illegal.
governor. Dude, no, you can ask the governor.
well, I think that depends on your interpretation of the law. But you know,
Interpretation of the law. Yeah, so like
well, we
in
have
some
well, we have
interpretation.
well, listen, we have this thing called constitutional preemption. So if it's ruled constitutional to explosives privately, the laws don't matter.
Okay.
So I mean,
So just quickly though, like, do you agree that even if it is, in your opinion, against the Constitution, it is against the law currently to have private explosives?
yeah. That's well, in some cases. But,
Well, I mean, in pretty much all cases.
no, a private citizen can manufacture and own up to 50 pounds of black powder without.
Did you know that black powder and gunpowder do not explode?
Yeah, that's true. They don't explode.
So they're not explosives.
They're federally categorized as explosives.
I mean, technically they're not though.
Is your
I thought we were talking about the law.
interpretation of
I'm talking about like whether or not they count as explosives. You're talking about this thing that's allowed in the law. I'm saying that's not a good example even because it's not technically an explosive.
All right. Well, what if I told you that private citizens can manufacture thermite?
What? And they can have like a thermite bomb.
Huh?
Can they construct a thermite bomb?
They can construct thermite. Yeah.
Can they construct a thermite bomb?
I'm not sure about that. I have to look that up.
I mean, come on, let's do a little bit of like.
I'll concede probably not.
Probably not, right? Why is that?
Because people think it's too dangerous.
And you disagree with that?
I do.
I mean, like, so if lots and lots of other people say that they think that it's too dangerous, like they have rights to their own lives, right? You would agree with that?
Negative rights to their own lives, yes.
I mean, they have the right to say that they don't want to live in a society where other people can do a certain thing. Correct?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, they can leave.
No, but they can, like, they did leave. That's what America is. They constructed a civilization.
They can leave from America.
No, but listen, they, like you said, they constructed a civilization where the right to bear arms was enshrined in the Constitution, and then they said, well, let's not be fucking morons about it, right? Some things are not okay because they are so dangerous that it doesn't make sense to allow someone to have.
I don't know, that seems like a slippery slope.
I mean, that is what your government did, though. Correct or incorrect?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, Crambot, I mean, you would agree with that.
So, like, you're saying the United States government, they made a mistake with regards to their weapons laws.
Yes, they did. A lot of them.
Oh, that's interesting. It opens up the weapons law mistake-making argument, right? So, like, if they made a mistake here, isn't it possible that the thing that you're relying on as your dogma is, like, slightly mistaken?
No, I said the law. I said the law, not the Constitution.
No, but I'm just saying, like, the fact of the matter is that there's no technical distinction between the two. Both of them are
I don't appreciate.
Both of them are espoused philosophies.
Whoa. Well,
what's the distinction?
Oh my god.
There is a distinction.
There's no difference between philosophy and science because the philosophy of science is philosophy. Oh god.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about politics, right?
We're talking about two different categories of law.
Well, yeah, what are they in your opinion?
The Constitution is essentially America's manifesto. So yes, the current law or even past iterations of American law is like directly derivative from the Constitution.
I would think so. Yeah,
is basically the philosophy of the law, but there definitely is.
Exactly.
Yeah, I happen to be
I mean,
accurately reflect.
I happen to be of the opinion that some of the laws don't accurately reflect that intent.
Yeah,
like,
you can be of that
obviously
opinion,
a technical distinction.
The question is, right? The question is, why is it the case then that the spirit of the law, in your opinion, isn't being followed? Is it because other people, a majority of them, in fact, think that explosives should be illegal? Is that why?
Probably.
Yeah, okay, so the majority... No, shut the fuck up, Cross. The majority...
No, you tried to equivocate, and that was dumb.
Shut up!
Say you were wrong. You just tried to equivocate.
Shut up,
that was
I'm not
stupid.
even talking to you. I don't know what you're talking about, but
that you just did, man. You just tried to equivocate between the U.S. Constitution and federal law. This was dumb.
God.
This was dumb. Except the fact that you just said a dumb thing.
I'm gonna make a fucking montage of you spurting
You were really dumb. Like, you just said a really dumb thing. We proved that it was dumb. Say you're sorry.
I'm sorry for offending you, Cross.
Fucking man-child. Holy shit.
Crambo.
That was so dumb. That was so dumb.
Crambo.
I'll wait for Cross to be finished.
Dude, do you want to throw a bigger tantrum?
Seriously though, Crambo. Like, you know that what he just said was fucking retarded, right? So I came in and showed
it was not accurate,
in
and I
the
appreciate
recording how fucking stupid he was.
I love it.
Cross. I'll tell you. Sync did have an inaccuracy in his argument, and I appreciate the correction.
Yeah, Cross, fuck him up, man.
God. Anyway.
Okay. So wait. So we're all clear that InSync was just now.
Wow, right? It's crazy. It's almost as if sometimes everybody is wrong. So, yeah,
so he was wrong just now, right?
No
so
shit.
We're all unanimous. So you're wrong.
I didn't articulate myself
Matt, you're being dumb.
All right, I'm going to clarify. I didn't articulate myself correctly. That doesn't make me dumb.
Hey, man, InSync, you just muted Cross. That's what we consider an L around here.
You're deep flat.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway,
just
shut up, man. I'm like late for something to have this conversation. I don't want to waste my time on you.
Leave. Go do your real life obligation. Bye-bye.
I'll put you in jail.
Bye-bye.
I'll put you in jail.
Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.
Okay,
Happy holidays.
You can't refute that, InSync.
I'll give you a
Merry InSync. The logic is too powerful. You can't take it.
I'm going to give him a Merry Christmas gift.
InSync, if you can't handle the heat.
Yeah, dude. I mean, get out of the kitchen.
Anybody ask about this? Because if you try to do anything...
Uh-huh. That was a cool opinion.
Dude, unmute him.
You can't stand the heat. Stay out.
Get out of the kitchen, man.
Crambo, I don't really remember where we were. Like I said, I'm like late at the moment to do this. So
well, then,
remind me.
Go and do your obligation, man.
No, because I want to like get it to a conclusion, right? We're talking
Smack my
about. We're talking about. Yeah, so we're talking about like most of the people in the country agreeing that having explosives is a bad idea.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll.
Yeah. So the question is it not part of like the way that the U.S. Constitution is set up, that when the majority of the individuals in the country think or feel a certain way, that's supposed to become the law?
Nope.
How? How is that the case?
Because we're a republic, not a democracy. That's not how the system
Yeah,
works.
but the republic is supposed to like streamline the process so that you have
No,
representatives
no, 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 no,
of the
no.
constituencies.
No, 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 no.
How
That's not how it
so?
works. How so? Want me to explain to you how laws are created?
I want you to explain to me how a republic is different from something where the like you have representatives of in like constituencies. How is that not accurate?
No, that's true. There are representatives of
So
constituencies.
then why did you say no?
Because the majority
Okay, so
rules
no.
how it
Let me
works.
just yeah. So when you said like that's not how a republic works. So isn't it the job of the representative to represent the interests of the constituents?
Yes.
So then when things are put into law by the representatives agreeing, what that is supposed to indicate, at least, is that the majority of the people in the country agree on an issue.
Well, I would tell you that even if people agree that something may be in their interest.
No, but that's like we're talking about like the structure of your government.
Hold on. I'm about to tell you why I said no. Okay. Because even if the majority of the people agree that something is in their interest, that doesn't mean that it is in their interest necessarily.
That's not relevant though.
No, that is relevant. That's why I said
no. That's not. No, I'm talking about the structure of. Look, I'm talking about the structure of your government and the spirit of that structure, like you were saying, the spirit of the law. The spirit of the structure is this.
Is to represent the interests,
no.
not the proceedings.
Yes, no, but look, you don't get to determine for other people what their interests are, and the way that we get around that problem is we say, but that's why your government is a republic, because you're the representatives.
Yeah, the representatives get to determine
They
that.
but they represent the interests of the constituents. So
yes, not the perceived interests.
No, but look, see, if all of the constituents tell the representative they want X, and enough of the people in the entire country do that, that it becomes passed as law that represents. I don't know why you're saying no. What did you say no to?
That's not how it works.
That is how. What?
No, like representatives don't have to listen to their constituents.
They don't have to, but that's their job.
No.
It's literally their job. Yes, it is.
Their job is to represent their interests.
That's what I said. Their interests are best said by them. You ask them what their interests are. You don't have to assume. Okay, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. If the people in your community don't feel like you listen to what they say and like you judge for them what they need, they probably won't re-elect you.
That's not true. Plenty of places do that.
That is true. If they don't feel like you actually take into account what they need, they won't re-elect you.
No, what they need, not what they say.
No, but you don't know what the difference is. Okay, that's up to them. What they think of you.
How do you know that I don't?
Because what they think of you is, do I think he is representing my interest? It doesn't have anything to do with whether you actually are, because they don't know that. They perceive you as either representing their interests or not. And I'm telling you that if someone gives you... listen,
I'm telling you, I'm not saying that...
No, here's what I'm saying. If there's a community consensus on an issue, and then the representative votes against the community consensus, the community probably won't re-elect them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, so the whole
that doesn't mean it doesn't happen all the time.
The whole idea of the Democratic Republic is that when things are passed into law, they reflect the consensus of the individuals of the state. That's the idea. So if the government, because of the majority consensus on the issue that we existed to begin with, has made something illegal, who are you to say that it shouldn't be illegal?
Someone who represents...
No, but the thing is that the American people are represented through the democracy. That's the whole point.
Yeah, well, who's to say I'm not running for office?
I mean, you might be, but the point that I'm making is that, like, when you say that something that is law shouldn't be law, I don't know where you're getting that from, because as we just discussed, most of the country doesn't agree with you.
Well,
don't you think the laws should reflect what the majority wants?
Not in all cases, no.
Yes, in all cases. That's the whole point of a democratic republic.
No, that's why we
It
have.
is.
That's why we have individual rights.
No, I don't agree
Yeah,
with
the
you.
whole point, like in your system, then 9% of the population could have their rights voted away from them by 51% because it's in the
Yes.
majority will.
Correct.
Not okay.
Yes.
It's not okay.
I mean,
And
like,
that's not
I understand.
the-
No, listen. I understand why you're saying that, but what I'm saying is that you would appeal to the individual philosophies of the constituents in order to get them to agree to that. It's not true inherently. It's a supposition.
Yeah, well, like you're prefacing this with the idea that I would attempt to be reelected. Like I'm
No. I'm saying, like, if you're not re-elected, your policies are unlikely to stay law for very long.
That's not true.
That is true. If someone is not re-elected because they made a specific mistake other people don't like, the new representative will probably be asked to rectify it.
In some cases, not always.
Do you know what the word probably means?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about a specific case, not a
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, probably already makes explicit some, but not all.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just reinforcing that distinction.
Okay, but I don't see how the distinction's particularly relevant, right?
Well, I think this is one of the cases that is the some, but not all.
I haven't seen any evidence for that yet.
I think it's one of the exceptions as well.
Well, like, the majority of your country doesn't agree with you, though. That's why they're illegal.
Well, that doesn't mean that it's right.
Correct, but I haven't seen any evidence that it isn't right. I've given you why they don't agree with it being legal. I happen to agree with those arguments.
And I've
like
told
the
you
only
why I
no,
don't.
but the only argument you can give me is that it is inconsistent with my dogma. That is what you're saying. Like, you have a dogma about guns, the Second Amendment, you hold it as a dogma, and anything that doesn't agree with it has to be false. That's what you're saying to me.
Is that what I'm saying?
It's what it sounds like. Do you think
It's
you're
a
saying something
categorical
different?
imperative.
Do you think you're saying something different to that?
Well, I think it's a position that I hold. I don't think it's a dogma.
No, but I'm saying, like, when you refer back to the position to justify it, that's a dogma.
Well, no, I explained to you the reasons behind the position.
No, but you didn't. You just, like, I ask you why, and we get down to the bottom of your justification chain, and you say, like I said, you recite the rhetoric. It's a dogma. You repeat it. It's not an explanation. You just say, I hold this to be true.
I said we need to be able to do it in order to defend ourselves from.
Yeah, and I don't agree with you. I don't think that's important.
Okay, well, I do think it's important.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is you thinking it's important is your personal opinion. The fact of the matter is that we don't agree about it. You could be wrong, but the way that you hold that opinion is dogmatic, in my opinion.
Well, I could be wrong, but you could also be wrong.
Of course, but I'm admitting that forthrightly. I don't say that, like, for instance, when we get down to the bottom of why I think guns shouldn't be legal or explosives shouldn't be legal, I give, like, a variety of different arguments, and none of them conclude with the one thing that I say again. They're different. It's about, like, a variety of factors. I'm not just referring to the Second Amendment. If you couldn't refer to the Second Amendment, could you make your case?
Yes.
How? I've never heard you do it.
Okay. Well, would you like me to explain why it should be legal in a country that isn't the United States, then?
No, I'd like you to explain without referring to the idea of the Second Amendment, like, without even, like, reciting the idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, go. Yep.
Because the Second Amendment doesn't exist in countries that aren't.
No, but that's irrelevant. I'm talking about the idea of the Second Amendment, which is
what idea? What idea? Okay, well, qualify. What is that idea then?
The thing that you recite to me. You need a well-regulated militia for the, I don't know, freedom of the state or some shit. Freedom from the state. I don't know, man. It's your dogma.
Yeah, you don't.
Fuck up a tyrannical government.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, don't you think that's valid?
No, I don't think that the tyrannical government is as dangerous or as imminent as you think it is.
Well, can we agree that tyrannical governments can exist?
Of course, they exist all around the world, but I think that Western countries have defense mechanisms against them.
Yeah. Yeah,
no, but I don't think. Yeah, it's guns. It's
No, I'm
guns,
saying,
Sync.
look, I live in a Western country. My country isn't a tyranny. We don't have free access to explosives or bombs.
Your country is more tyrannical than my country.
If you say so.
I think it is.
I don't know how you come to that conclusion, but okay.
Well, I could explain it to you if you want.
Well, you can give it a go, I guess.
I mean, look, I don't want to keep you from your engagement, man.
No, you can give it a go.
Okay. Well, I think your country is more tyrannical than my country. Your government
Because why so?
Because your government affords you less individual freedoms than mine does.
Yeah, but like, could you give me an example?
For example, does Australia have hate speech laws? I think they do. I'm not. Do they?
Yeah, they're pretty broad, but yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. I'd say that that's an infringement upon freedom of speech.
Yeah, I agree. But like, as someone who doesn't tend to espouse hate speech, it's not a problem for me. Like, I agree with you, and I think it should be changed.
Yeah, it's not a problem
Look, I agree.
at the moment, but one day it may be.
No, I agree, and I think it should be changed. But I'm saying that doesn't infringe on my right.
What mechanism do you have for forcing the government to acknowledge that opinion?
I haven't needed.
Okay, but one day you might. Do you agree with that? That you may one day need to force the government to acknowledge your position?
Yeah, dude, you just walk up there with a gun, fuck them, tell them what you want.
That's literally how it works.
It is?
What do you think the colonists did to the British Army?
Do you think that like I can get just a group of people and then go up?
Who do you think the Continental Army were? They were a bunch of people just off.
Do you think like we're in the same position? I could just like run up there with a fucking gun and tell them?
Well, I think it's happened historically.
Yeah, but like there's probably different variables in the past, right? Go ahead and say.
Look, I don't find it to be a particularly threatening prospect in my country. It doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon, in my opinion.
Well, I'm not worried about anytime soon. I'm worried about it in the far off future.
Yeah, I don't think that your strategy is the best one.
Okay, so what's a better strategy then?
The better strategy is to have regulated guns, like by the government, have gun control.
What if the government threatens to revoke that?
Then if the citizens think that it's tyrannical, they'll probably do what they did in America, like hide their weapons.
Well, don't you think that that's... Don't you think that that's unnecessary?
No.
It seems like you're just adding extra steps just so that it makes you feel better.
Yeah, I'm adding extra steps so that we have less mass shootings. And guess what? It actually works.
That's not true.
I mean, like, look it up. It does work. We've had so many less mass shootings than your country.
You also have less people.
Yeah, it's not proportionate, though. The difference is, like...
And the U.S. defines mass shootings differently from you do.
I'm telling you, the difference is statistically significant.
Well, I told you, the definition is different, and B, you guys have more people.
Dude, the definition of mass shooting that Wikipedia uses captures all killings that involve 2 or more people with a gun.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a mass shooting.
Neither would I. I'm saying that's what we're accounting for. When you look at Australia's mass shootings, it lists everything that could be counted as a mass shooting by anybody, and it's up to you who you think it is.
Well, is that adjusted per capita?
There have been statistical analyses done of it, yes.
Okay, so what does it come out to?
I don't have access to the numbers right now. I'm walking.
Oh, well. I don't know what to tell you then. I'd have to see the numbers.
Of course, but you couldn't look into it. I would have to like find them for you, right?
Well, it's your source.
I just told you, like, have a look on Wikipedia. You could do the math yourself. It's a simple equation.
All right, fine. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to adjust for a bunch of stuff, like for example, the higher murder rate that the United States has.
Yeah, and then like race and everything like that.
Yeah, I'd have to adjust for that as well. Like, you have to adjust.
Fuck.
Well, that's true, Stacy. That's true.
What are you talking?
Hey, did you know, dude, that in my country, the indigenous people have way higher crime?
Yo, so like, wait,
Oh, how much
Crambo,
is it
Crambo,
comparable to the amount that we have? Because if it is, I'll accept it.
Probably, man.
Can I just get clarification on why like black people murders don't count? Is that what you're trying to say, or
Because they're mostly gang related, and I wouldn't include gang violence in mass
why
shootings.
wouldn't you include gang related violences?
Because I think when most people think about mass shootings, they're not thinking about it.
But his already like went into one with 2 or more killings, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's an accurate definition of mass shooting.
So what are you going to do? So what are you going to go and check?
The point that I'm making.
I could give you my I could look at those numbers. I could give you my criteria.
Numbers. Like, you can look at the Wikipedia page, see all of the things that fall into that very broad category of 2 or more deaths with a gun, right?
Yeah.
And then you can look at the circumstances of it and determine for yourself whether or not it counts as a mass shooting. And you can count them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying I'd do. I'd have to go through. I'd have to set a definition for a mass shooting.
But it's easy. It's just a Wikipedia page.
Do the ones with boomerangs count in sync?
Dude, boomerangs are constantly multi-kill. There's no single kills with boomerangs.
That's what I'm asking. They definitely like put those in the statistics, there, right?
Like I'm familiar. I'm familiar with a lot of the statistical sleight of hand that goes on when people use statistics regarding firearms in the United States. So I'd have to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like, I've taken statistics as a university subject, so I wouldn't be involved in that kind of thing. Just saying.
All right. So do you think, for example, because I'll tell you some things that have happened in studies in the United States, right? Do you think that suicide should be included in gun violence?
I don't know. Like, I think that it should be. I don't think it should be included in gun violence per se, but it should definitely be like included in an analysis of the risk that guns play. Pardon?
Yeah, it's very commonly included in gun violence, and I don't think that's accurate.
Well, I think that's probably a mistake, but that doesn't seem here nor there.
Well, I'll also tell you that it makes up more than half of the number in most cases.
Mm-hmm. I have to go for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
I will be back soon.
NSYNC, isn't it like Christmas for you?
Yeah, dude.
So, Stacy.
What are you doing?
Stacy.
Yeah, what's up, Crambo?
Stacy, let's continue this conversation.
I'm taking a shit right now, but go ahead.
That's okay. I don't mind. But
all right, no problem.
Do you think that gang violence should be included in gun violence statistics?
I don't see why not. It's gun violence.
Because as we've seen in places like the United Kingdom, gangs will continue to kill each other with things like knives. Guns aren't necessarily required for that.
Yeah, but like at the same rate?
Yes, at the same rate.
You think like
in the UK,
like
gang
no
violence,
statistical difference?
In fact, in the UK, I've seen some statistics that say that the murder rate increased once knives were used. Because knife wounds are in many cases much harder to repair than gunshot wounds.
No, sure. Can you like send me a link?
Oh, sure. Yeah, but I'll tell you anecdotally that the many wounds inflicted by blades are much harder to fix than gunshot wounds. But I'll find you a study.
So you're saying we should just have like the crazy white kids that go and shoot up schools? So those are the ones that we need to look for in the.
Well, I'd call that a mass shooting. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't call like a bunch of gangsters getting into a territory and drugs like a mass shooting. I don't think that's what most people think of when they think mass shooting.
Yeah, but I don't see why not.
Because like it's two sides that are engaged in a fight. Mass shooting is generally like one person taking out a bunch of defenseless people.
So is that all you care about?
Gang violence is like a rolling firefight.
Yeah, but like, is that all you care about though?
When we're talking about mass shootings, yeah, I think gang violence is a different problem with a different solution. Wouldn't you agree?
Sorry, what was the question? I said when I agree that there's a different problem with the
gang violence is a different problem with a different solution from mass shootings, as most people imagine.
I mean, like at the base of it, yes.
Yeah, that's why I would separate them into their own category because I think they're largely unrelated.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we have issues with the fighter jets throughout the streets. That's the main issue.
We have what now? I'm sorry.
I just have the main issue is with the tanks and the fighter jets.
That's not.
It's not what? I'm sorry, you cut off.
I think that the image that you have in your head isn't what that would actually be like.
I'm just saying it's just like from the system that you're giving me, and like when you close your eyes and say, okay, like there's this crazy person.
Yeah, I understand it sounds bad, but I'm telling you that it really wouldn't be if we put it into practice. Okay,
I don't see the reason or the purpose for like a private individual owning a tank, and especially like if this private individual just like decides to go crazy, or just like the people with the fucking AK-47s, and they decide to go out and fucking shoot a bunch of people and then kill themselves.
Here you go. I can't. Okay, I'd have to do a lot of digging to get you the study that I told you, right? But I can give you a study here that says that London's murder rate and gang crime rate is worse than in New York. Would you accept that?
Yeah, sure. I'll look at it some. But what do you think? What is your interpretation of the Second?
I think that people should be able to own arms.
So, like, what does that mean when you say people should be allowed to own arms?
Pretty much anything that the military has access to should also be available on the civilian market.
Are you sure? I thought we went over this. Like, can I own like a fucking atomic bomb or like a nuke? Like that?
No, I told you that I would draw the line at nuclear, biological, and chemical.
Okay. So, like, my question is why
like according to international law, that's stuff that not even the military is supposed to use.
So, but you said whatever they have access to, right? But you drew the line there, and I'm asking
whatever they. I'm talking about in like warfare scenarios, right?
In warfare scenario, you don't think you don't think that would use that in warfare scenarios?
No, I don't. I don't think the U.S. Military is in the habit of gassing people.
Well, no, not a habit of it, right? But like if it came to it, they might. Right?
Yeah, I'm talking about
if it happens in the future. That's what you said for the other thing.
I'm talking about conventional warfare.
Conventional warfare.
You were talking about if it could ever happen. That's what you said. Right, that was your argument for the tyranny thing. It was like, if it could conceivably happen, we need to be prepared.
Yeah, so like your argument is like whatever the military has access to, and then when I make the point of like, okay, what about all these other like fucking nukes and shit like that? You're like, no, I draw the line there because like conventional warfare, but that the military still has access to it, right?
I don't think that they would use it though.
Well, you don't think that they would, but they could, right? There's an if. You would agree that like there might be a scenario, or else why like they have it for a reason, right? It might come to that point, and they might use it, right?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Well,
You don't
why
think you
not?
can't conceive of like a possible way? Well, I
No.
don't think that the government is going to become tyrannical. But anyway, so like my question is,
So wait,
why-
I have a question. China starts a war. They launch a bunch of nukes at like pretty much every other country. You don't think the United States would launch nukes back at China? You seriously don't think?
I think that would be the end of the world.
I don't care. They
That's
would do
not
it.
an
They
answer.
would do it.
Yeah, but I don't like
Yeah,
the
okay.
the
You said
idea
that.
behind.
you said yeah.
would.
Well, you
No,
said
no,
Hold
no.
yeah.
Yeah,
on.
you said
No, I'm talking about a civilian population.
he was talking about
Holy
something
shit.
that was possible, and you just said yes, it is possible.
Yeah, in the context of a
Yes.
civilian population rising
Just
against
before you said
the
no.
government. In the
Just before you said
context of a civilian population rising up against the government, I don't think that would be possible.
I don't think that's relevant though.
Yeah, that's the scenario that I had in mind.
No, the point is that the principles that you're saying are like good and true have to be applicable to all situations.
Okay.
Yeah, they're for two specific
and so-
contexts.
No, they're supposed to be applicable. The principles, if they're true, they should apply to all the things that fall under their purview.
Yeah, that's what falls under the purview, those situations.
What does? What do you mean those situations?
Like, the purpose of the Second Amendment is to prepare for two situations.
Okay, Crambo, can we just like take this back, right? So you made the claim, and then you refuted it yourself. Right? You said we should have access to what civilians should have access to whatever the military has. Then you say no, I draw the line at this, right? And that's what I said. What do you mean by the Second Amendment? What arms?
Perhaps I didn't phrase myself in a way that I should have.
Okay, yeah, sure. So you draw the lines at like nukes, fucking biochemicals, things like this. And my question to you is, why are you drawing the line there? And what is huh?
He cucks out at the nuke. He can't do it.
Yeah, dude, don't cuck out if you're gonna do it all the way, man. So
no, I just can't do it. I can't do it, man.
Okay, so like, what's the massive distinction? Like, why do you draw it there?
Because in warfare, either between nations or in civil warfare, those are not standard.
Hey, guess what? Serrated blades are also not allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of countries use those in wars.
They shouldn't.
Why shouldn't they?
Yeah,
what the fuck? I thought you were American.
You're saying they wouldn't. I'm saying civilians might.
No, I said they shouldn't.
In a civil war, for instance.
I didn't say they
Rambo,
wouldn't.
what kind of American are you?
No, but just when we were talking about nukes, you said they wouldn't, right?
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm saying, actually, you're saying they shouldn't. This is in the second proposition as well.
In the proposition of like serrated blades, nations shouldn't use those.
No. You're saying the same thing about nukes because they could. The fact that they haven't yet is not good evidence for the proposition that they will not. That's ridiculous.
No, I'd tell you that mutually assured destruction will not.
I can tell you that the fact that something hasn't happened yet does not prove that it will not happen. That's a fact.
Mutually assured destruction, though.
It doesn't prove that. You don't know. Could yet happen. Like, you're a subjective human. You're making a calculation. You could be wrong. Like, fundamentally, that's what it comes down to. You could be wrong.
Damn right.
Yeah, but what's that have to do with the conversation?
Well, you're putting it as if they wouldn't use nukes. I'm saying, no, you mean you think they shouldn't because they might, and you wouldn't know.
Well, no, I can tell you why I don't think they would use nukes.
But they might, right, Crambo?
You did use that reasoning, but first of all, I didn't accept it on its like premises. But second of all, you used an argument before, which was about possibility. The point is, it's possible, right?
Well, then I'll tell you that if they do use nukes, it's a moot point because that'll be the end of the world.
I don't think that nullifies the conclusion logically.
I think it does. As far as I'm concerned, it does. As far as America is concerned, as far as the world is concerned, yeah, it's true.
Grambo, do you think
What?
it's likely that if we didn't have our guns, that the U.S. would turn tyrannical? The U.S. government?
It's certain that that would happen eventually.
Oh, it's certain.
Eventually, yeah.
100% guarantee. Okay.
Given enough time, yes.
Like, how much is enough time?
That depends on a few different factors that I don't have access to.
Sure. Can you like impose a couple factors and then give me an estimation?
I think it's too complex.
Mm.
I think the
Wow.
time for that kind of thing is like the best thing that I could do for you if you wanted me to estimate it is I'd have to compare it to other instances because I don't.
Do I hear him cooking out again?
What?
Do I hear him cooking out again?
Oh no, he's just saying how if we didn't have guns, the U.S. would like certainly turn tyrannical given enough time.
Well, I mean that's not just the U.S.
Oh,
It's all governments.
is this the monkeys with typewriters in Shakespeare's entire works argument?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
It pretty much is. Yeah, that's a bad argument. Like logically, it's a fallacy.
It's not a fallacy.
Yes, it is.
Which fallacy is it then?
I'll have to look it up,
Instinct's
but I know that it is.
All right,
Because,
tell me which
like-
fallacy it is.
Yeah, I'll look it up, man. I happen to be home, so fuck you.
Oh, go ahead.
I hear a monkey tapping on the typewriter.
He's gonna get Shakespeare if you let him there long enough.
Yeah.
Like I tell
Okay,
you,
no.
that
So
Like,
wait.
wait.
Our fighter
The way
jets.
the way that they phrase it is such that it's not false, but it's not the thing that you were saying, right? Because the thing you were saying is false. The way they phrase it is, the infinite monkey theorem states that a monkey hitting keys at random on a typewriter keyboard for an infinite amount of time will almost surely type a given text, such as the complete works of William Shakespeare.
yeah.
Almost sure being the operative term. Do you know what that means?
Why almost surely?
Because it's not necessarily going to happen. Like, they're saying, like, if you had forever, then lots of things would come out of it, and maybe that would be one of them. Probably,
Well,
if you really did have infinite time, but you can't know for sure.
What? I don't get
Because
it. It seems
let's
like it
say-
would certainly happen.
Okay. No, because an infinite amount of time never ends. You don't get to the end.
Therefore, like
No, you don't finish the task.
No, you don't finish. No, but like, what doesn't that mean? Like
So you
all
don't
possibilities
necessarily
will
get
come
all
through
of
it.
them. No, you don't necessarily get all of the answers because you don't finish.
I'm not following. Maybe I'm retarded. You don't necessarily get all the answers.
Well, the tax.
Okay, so
I thought that
Look,
like
look,
okay,
look,
there's a
look,
possibility. There's a
Stop,
possibility
stop.
that like hitting like
Stop.
if I just hit random
You know,
keys that I'm gonna write out that entire work. Right?
have you ever heard of set theory?
Set theory? I've heard of it. I'm not familiar though.
Okay, so it's the idea of like multiple types of infinity.
Oh
Some are
yes,
bigger than
I've
others,
heard of
right?
that. Yeah, because like some infinity, like you got the numbers between
Well,
1
that's,
and 2.
that's not what set theory. Yeah, that's not what set theory is about. But that's one of the things that is explained by set theory, right?
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, so one of the things that we know is that you can't count all the numbers. Like it can't be done.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like the variations on the keyboard are like algorithms, right? They're like, especially if we're talking about like a book that big, right? Like even though it's one of the things that's possible in terms of like over time, right? Like the point is that one of the things that the guy who came up with the basics of set theory showed was he like, I can't figure out exactly how it works, but it's like, it's a number grid, and then he like uses a formula, I think, to go diagonally down the number grid. And what he shows is that there are some numbers that you can't count to, even if you counted for an infinite amount of time.
Well, okay.
I'll find it for you. One sec.
Yeah, go ahead. Wait, so that mean there's an infinite number of possibilities that you can do with the keyboard, right?
I don't like the word infinite, man.
Infinite. Well, we're already working under the term infinite.
Yeah, I know, but like, I don't know what you're asking me when you say it, because it's a nebulous thing to say.
Okay.
Why I didn't use the word infinite.
So like when they say infinite time, you know what that means, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it means that
I
it
didn't
doesn't
say
have-
I didn't say in an
Okay.
infinite amount of time it would happen.
Okay. We're talking about something else, Cranberry. Fuck your
Oh, well.
yeah. Fuck your stuff. So like you understand what they say when they're saying it, right?
Yeah, but what's your point?
Yeah, so I'm saying, do you understand what I mean when I say like there's an infinite amount of possibility?
I know what you're trying to say, but you don't
What am I
quite know
trying
what
to
you
say?
mean. You're trying to say that the let's say volume of possibilities is something that you can't grasp mentally. Yeah, like you can like rationally describe it to know that it exists, but in terms of like imagining something being an infinity but being larger than another infinity, good luck.
Yeah.
Like that just makes no fucking sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wait, did you send that thing? Oh, okay, yeah, I see it. All right, go ahead with your stuff, Crambo.
I don't know. I think we're pretty well derailed now.
Derail. Well, bring the train back, man.
I think it's crashed.
Dude, well, I think that's probably partially your fault, man.
It's always my fault, Stacy.
It is, cause like every time when you say like we should own tanks and fighter jets, and then I show like what that logically leads to, and then like you accept that that's a meme and you laugh about it and you joke, and then we just go back to the same thing. It's just a circle. Yeah, that's always what happens. Cause then you laugh about it and then you're like, well, no, and you go back to the starting point. And then we run through it again, and it's like, well, no, seriously.
About it, and then I say no, seriously, and we start again.
Yes, that's what happened. Literally with you and NSYNC, like a while ago. That's what happened.
You just need to quit memeing. I think that's the solution.
Huh?
I think you just need to quit memeing.
Memeing?
Yeah, quit memeing.
What am I memeing about?
You're memeing about nukes.
Nukes? Nah, dude. We went off that meme. You were too much of a pussy to say that. Oh no, NSYNC left. Oh, he's back. Yeah, so we had to go off that meme because you're cuck.
No.
Yeah. Dude, you cucked out at the nukes and the biochemical.
Thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and join us in the Nameless Debates Discord. We hope to see you there.